What if I told you that the single most obvious financial decision of your entire lifetime is staring you right in the face, and 99% of people are going to miss it because they're overthinking it? I'm talking about Bitcoin. And before you roll your eyes and think, another crypto video, let me ask you this. When in human history has a brand new asset class emerged that could absorb the wealth of every other store of value on the planet? Never. This is a once-in-civilization event. And you're living through it right now. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why buying Bitcoin isn't just smart, it's so obvious that not buying it is the real gamble. This is the generational wealth transfer that our grandchildren will read about in history books, and you get to choose which side of that history you want to be on. Let me put this moment in perspective for you. Your great-grandparents had the opportunity to buy land during westward expansion. Your grandparents could have bought stocks during the Great Depression. Your parents could have bought real estate in the 1970s or tech stocks in the 1990s. Every generation gets one chance to front-run a massive wealth transfer, one opportunity to position themselves before the rest of the world figures it out. Bitcoin is our opportunity, and unlike every other generational wealth opportunity in history, this one comes with mathematical certainty. Here's what makes Bitcoin completely different. Land could always be developed. More stocks could always be issued. More real estate could always be built. But there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Ever. That's not a business plan, that's physics. For the first time in human history, we have an asset with absolute, mathematically enforced scarcity. And we're still in the early adoption phase. Think about that for a second. You're getting the chance to buy digital property with guaranteed scarcity, while institutions are still figuring out how to custody it properly. This is like buying Manhattan real estate in 1650. Let me put this moment in perspective for you. Your great-grandparents had the opportunity to buy land during westward expansion. Your grandparents could have bought stocks during the Great Depression. Your parents could have bought real estate in the 1970s or tech stocks in the 1990s. Every generation gets one chance to front-run a massive wealth transfer. One opportunity to position themselves before the rest of the world figures it out. Bitcoin is our opportunity, and unlike every other generational wealth opportunity in history, this one comes with mathematical certainty. Here's what makes Bitcoin completely different. Land could always be developed. More stocks could always be issued. More real estate could always be built, but there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Ever. That's not a business plan, that's physics. For the first time in human history, we have an asset with absolute, mathematically enforced scarcity, and we're still in the early adoption phase. Think about that for a second. You're getting the chance to buy digital property with guaranteed scarcity, while institutions are still figuring out how to custody it properly. This is like buying Manhattan real estate in 1650. Here's why this is the most brainless financial decision you'll ever make. You don't need to understand blockchain technology. You don't need to read white papers. You don't need to analyze market charts or follow influencers on Twitter. All you need to understand is this. There are 8 billion people on Earth and only 21 million Bitcoin. As more people figure out that Bitcoin is superior money, demand goes up. Supply can't go up. Prices explode. That's it. That's the entire investment thesis. But let me make it even simpler for you. Every single institution that has seriously studied Bitcoin has come to the same conclusion. MicroStrategy put their entire treasury into it. Tesla bought $1.5 billion worth. El Salvador made it legal tender BlackRock launched an ETF. These aren't gambling addicts making YOLO trades. These are fiduciaries managing other people's money who did months of due diligence and concluded that Bitcoin is so obviously superior to dollars that not buying it would be negligent. When the smartest financial minds on earth are unanimous about something, you don't need to be a genius to follow their lead. You just need to not be stubborn. The hardest part about Bitcoin isn't understanding it. It's accepting that something this obvious could still be this early in its adoption curve. But this isn't just about making money. This is about something much bigger. You are living through the birth of a new monetary system. For the first time in human history, regular people have access to the same hard money that governments and institutions use. Throughout history, the wealthy have always had ways to protect their wealth from inflation and monetary manipulation. They owned land, gold, art, businesses, real assets that maintained value while currencies collapsed. Regular people were stuck with cash and savings accounts, watching their purchasing power slowly erode through inflation. The system was designed to transfer wealth from savers to debtors, from workers to asset owners. Bitcoin changes everything. For the first time, a construction worker in Ohio has access to the same monetary technology as a billionaire in Silicon Valley. The same mathematical scarcity, the same inflation protection, the same global liquidity. This is financial democracy. This is monetary equality. This is the great leveling of financial opportunity, and you get to be part of it. Not as a spectator, but as a participant. Not by asking permission from banks or governments, but by downloading an app and buying some Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin wallet is your personal central bank. Your private keys are your financial sovereignty. Your Bitcoin stack is your declaration of independence from the existing financial system. Here's the harsh reality. This opportunity has an expiration date. Right now, you can still buy meaningful amounts of Bitcoin, but every quarter, that becomes harder. Pension funds are starting to allocate. Sovereign wealth funds are getting regulatory approval. Corporate treasuries are adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets. Once these trillion-dollar entities finish their accumulation, the Bitcoin available to regular people disappears permanently. Think about it this way. When BlackRock's clients decide to allocate 1% of their $10 trillion in assets to Bitcoin, that's $100 billion of buying pressure. When Norway's $1.7 trillion sovereign wealth fund decides to buy Bitcoin, those coins are gone forever. You're not just competing with other retail investors anymore, you're competing with the largest pools of capital on Earth, and they have deeper pockets and longer time horizons than you do. The window of opportunity for regular people to accumulate meaningful Bitcoin positions is closing fast. Not in decades, not in years, in quarters. Every day you wait is a day that institutions with unlimited resources are accumulating the asset you're researching or thinking about or waiting to understand better. Let me be crystal clear about what you're really choosing between. Option A, you recognize that Bitcoin is the hardest money ever created, with mathematical scarcity and global adoption by the smartest institutions on Earth. You buy some. You hold it. You let mathematics and network effects work in your favor. Option B, you overthink it. You wait for more clarity. You want to understand every technical detail before you act. You watch from the sidelines as the greatest wealth transfer in human history happens without you. Here's the thing about generational opportunities. They don't wait for you to get comfortable. They don't pause while you do more research. They happen whether you participate or not. Your great-grandparents didn't need to understand soil composition to buy farmland. Your grandparents didn't need to understand corporate accounting to buy stocks. You don't need to understand cryptographic hash functions to buy Bitcoin. You just need to recognize mathematical scarcity when you see it. And you need to act on that recognition before everyone else does. The information is available, the opportunity is obvious, the institutions are buying, the infrastructure is built, the regulatory clarity is coming. Every excuse you have for not buying Bitcoin is really just fear disguised as prudence. So here's your moment of truth. You now understand something that most people don't. Bitcoin isn't just digital money, it's digital property with absolute scarcity in a world of infinite money printing. It's financial sovereignty in a system designed to keep you dependent. It's your seat at the table when the new economy gets built.
You have two choices.
You can treat this like interesting information and go back to your normal routine, or you can recognize this as the obvious generational opportunity it is and position yourself accordingly. Your children and grandchildren are going to ask you about this moment. They're going to want to know what you did when you had the chance to buy the hardest money ever created for less than the price of a used car. What are you going to tell them? That you were too busy, too scared, too proud to follow the institutions that were obviously right? Or are you going to tell them that you recognized the opportunity, you did the obvious thing, and you positioned your family for generational wealth? The choice is yours, but you have to make it now. Because this opportunity won't wait for you to get comfortable with it. If this video convinced you that Bitcoin is the most obvious decision of your lifetime, absolutely destroy that like button. If you're ready to start building generational wealth, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And drop a comment below. I want to know, are you finally ready to do the obvious thing? Because after watching this, there's really no excuse left. The most obvious opportunity in human history is in front of you. Your only job is to not overthink it. Thanks for watching.